Okay, the fix for today is on my wife's car. She's got a broken sway bar link, okay? Now the sway bar is to connect. Here's the sway bar. It goes from this side of the car to the other. It connects through this link to the lower control arm. Now, the reason we noticed this, or I didn't notice it, but there was a deep rattling noise inside the car. So when we had our tires put on from Tire Rack, the technician noticed this. Now he thought that's where the rattle might be coming from. And looking at it, I don't really know because I don't see where any of this could rattle. However, the noise is like a low bass rattle. It's a lower frequency, so it suggests metal to metal contact. Big pieces of metal to metal contact. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray this down with liquid wrench, both sides, inside here, because it's been on the car since 2003 and there's lots of rust there. So I'm gonna try to get it all up in there, all around the threads. This is gonna be a little more difficult because it's not really convenient to get to. But the way these bolts come off is you stick an Allen wrench in the end and then you put a wrench on there and turn it. So I'm gonna let that sit for a few minutes, then I'm gonna come back and see if I can get those old OEM link off. And I'm actually very surprised at how easy that bolt came loose. But anyway, it's coming right off. At least the bottom one is. We'll see how the top one is. Okay, there's something I forgot to mention, and that's what the sway bar actually does. And what it's designed to do is when you go into a hard corner, it's designed to keep the body from rolling over too much. So without that, you might notice that your car sways a little more in one direction. We didn't notice that because this is my wife's car and she drives like a sissy. And when I'm in it, I'm not really in a hurry. So we didn't notice it not handling well, which would probably be the first symptom. We just noticed the rattle. And then that technician said it might be because of this. So it's broken. I need to change it anyway. So here we go. Okay, the top one also came off, no problem. So that's good. So after I get this off and I put the other one on, I'll explain about the new sway bar link. It's a little different. It's more old school where you have grease fittings and Zerks to put grease in. Nowadays, it used to be back in the old days, you had to grease your front end and nobody ever did and parts wore out. And I, for one, am a really bad one about doing maintenance on my cars. I just fix them when they break. But anyway, everything nowadays is sealed. It's the grease is applied from the factory and it's sealed. Whatever material they use, you don't have to grease them. I don't care that the new link is not sealed because I'm going to grease it once and then I'll probably never touch it again because we'll get rid of the car before it becomes a problem. But anyway, I'll show you what I'm going to do to put the new one on. Okay, so here's the old link that's broken. This would fit in there like so. Here's the new link. Okay, and it comes with these little Zerks. Comes with two of them. Screw in here. Then after I screw these in, I'm going to apply grease with this grease gun I just bought. I had a grease gun, but I left it somewhere, so I haven't had it. And like I said, most things these days are pre-sealed. So after I put that together, I'm going to grease it up and stick it in the car. Okay, so here's the grease fittings in there, the Zerks. I use a 3/8 inch wrench to get on there. I'm sure they're metric, but I couldn't find the proper. Well, looks like I'm going to have to. Okay, one of these Zerks, it's in there nice and straight and goes right in. One's not so good, so I guess they didn't tap it right, but I'm certainly not going to take it back to the store and get it re-tapped. So I'm going to just thread this in with my open-end 3/8 inch wrench that I found. And I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'll be back with you. Okay, one of these, I busted the threads in there. I wasn't really torquing on it, but I think it's the one that wasn't threaded very well. But again, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to put some grease in there and I'm going to put it on and we're going to be done with it. Okay, so I'll get to the grease gun in a minute, but I'm kind of pissed off about it because it's a real piece of shit. Oops, excuse me. Real piece of garbage. Nothing fits. The fittings don't fit right. Grease comes out of there. I couldn't get grease in my Zerk. I'm going to try to do it after I put it on the car. But notice that these two don't quite line up. This control arm is lower than it needs to be to adjust or to attach to the sway arm. So what I'm going to do is I use the jack, and I'm going to jack up on the lower control arm until these two meet. And I'll get back with you in a minute. Let me just show you what I'm doing. Okay. So I've got this jack, and I got it put under the base of the control arm, and I'm going to jack up on it until those two meet. Okay, so I jacked up on it a little bit, and see these two meet, and now it's connected. So I'm going to bolt those together, and then I'm going to try to put grease in those grease fittings. Okay, the new nuts are a little bigger. They're 15, where the others were 14. Notice there's still an angle here. I'm still going to jack up on that to get it right before I tighten it down, but I'll wait till I get this a little closer. Looks like I got to put a wrench on the back to keep that from spinning. And what I did is I put a 14 millimeter wrench on the inside of that, and I've got a 15 on the outside. Now I'm hoping that as I tighten this stabilizer bar link down, that this wrench doesn't get wedged in there. Maybe a thinner wrench would be nice, but I don't have one. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up, and I'll just get back to you in a minute. Okay, I got it on there, and in thinking about it, I decided I like this design better. And the reason is, first of all, the wrench never got wedged in there like I thought it might. So, no problem there. But I like this design better because, and this is the old school design, because you can put a ratchet on there and really torque it and do it much faster. Okay, so now it's complete, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to put grease in there with that crappy grease gun I just bought that I'll probably try to take back. Okay, so here we go. Wish me luck. Okay. See? See where the grease is coming? Yay! Coming out of the gun. That's real helpful, isn't it? Okay, I tried to tighten up. Just so you know, this is called the pistol grip grease gun from Advanced Auto Parts. It's got a little logo in the left hand corner called Performance Tool. You know, I've used grease guns before, so it's not like I'm a complete idiot when it comes to them. It says to push it on and turn it slightly. Oh, there it comes. Look at that grease coming out of there. Can you see that? What a beautiful piece of garbage this is. Okay, it's back together. Hopefully I got enough grease in there with that piece of garbage gun. I'm going to go take that back and exchange it. I've had grease guns before, and that one's a piece of garbage. So anyway, I'm going to put the wheel back on. I'm going to take that jack out, put it onto the car, take that jack stand out, put the wheel back on, and that's going to be a completed repair. That was nothing. I would have liked those grease fittings to fit in there a little better. Those Zerks, like I said, I stripped one. I'm not going to worry about it though. The product is made in Mexico. At least it's not made in China. Okay, the repair's done. Will it stop the rattle? I don't know. Even if it doesn't, I'll have to keep tracking it down. It needed fixed anyway. You know, that link should have been replaced. So I don't know if it's going to stop the rattle. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. It needed fixed anyway. If that didn't fix it, I'll just keep looking. But the repair's complete. Well, as far as the rattle goes, it's exactly what I thought in the first place before that technician said anything, which is the heat shield on the catalytic converter. It broke off some time ago, and I put a hose clamp on, big one, and it started rattling after that. I just never got around to it. But when that technician said, you know, you have a broken sway bar link, and that could be the rattle, I started thinking, well, that sounds a little deeper bass than a heat shield, but it's a heat shield. However, the car rides a lot better now. I had forgotten how good that car handled because that sway bar link must have been busted for a long time, but it's much more solid now. If anyone's interested, I can go over the physics of how sway bars work. maybe a little physics lesson for you guys, just let me know.